Good morning, everyone. It is 9 a.m. Thanks for tuning into our live stream here on WGRZ-Plus, and we begin with breaking news. In the midst of this frigid cold weather, Buffalo police say 2 children are missing, and police will be holding a news conference 30 minutes from now at Buffalo Police Headquarters to ask for the public's help in finding these 2 children. Take a look at your screen right now. These photos were posted on Facebook last night. 7-year-old Nova Rain Lily is about 4'4" with dark blonde hair and blue eyes. She's on the left. 12-year-old Araya Brown is about 5 feet tall with black hair and brown eyes. Police say both children were last seen yesterday around Delaware Avenue and Summer Street in the city. You can call 911 if you have any information on their whereabouts. But again, we will have a crew at this news conference from Buffalo Police and bring you the details. We'll be streaming that news conference in its entirety right here on the stream at 9:30 this morning. And also breaking this morning, Senator Chuck Schumer says a Western New Yorker is on his way home after being held by the Taliban for 2 years. Ryan Corbett is being released. The Dansville man was taken into custody in Afghanistan in August of 2022. Senator Schumer released this statement this morning that reads, quote, "After over 2 years of being unjustly and wrongfully detained by the Taliban, Ryan Corbett, praise God, is now finally on his way home. It is a blessing. In just a few hours, he will be on American soil once again." Schumer goes on to say, "I met with Ryan's wife, Anna, and his beautiful children dozens of times and worked alongside them to make sure everyone knew Ryan's story, building bipartisan support for Ryan's release and elevating his case to the highest levels of government." Schumer says even in the darkest of times, they never gave up hope, never got angry. They just persisted. Thank you to President Biden, National Security Advisor Sullivan, and the bipartisan coalition that worked to ensure Ryan's release. Everyone in Western New York can smile today knowing that Ryan is coming home. I look forward to welcoming Ryan back to Western New York very soon, end quote. So we will have much more on Ryan Corbett's release, his return home to Western New York. Again, he's from Dansville, and we will cover that story today right here on Channel 2. The other big story of the day is the weather, and it is nasty in some spots. Other spots, the sun is shining.
But
there's
it's
barely
frigid,
any snow, but
right.
It is frigid out there. We're talking
Right.
single-digit temps. It
Yeah.
feels even colder, though, Patrick.
Yeah, it's been as low as 22 below zero this morning in Jamestown, 5 to 10 below, the wind chill in Buffalo. This is Silver Creek on the thruway. Snowy here, but it is going to get potentially very snowy here in Buffalo for the afternoon and evening commute. So heads up. Yeah, we've got some very cold weather. This is the kind of snow we're expecting, Melissa, 1 to 3 inches. Not much in the falls.
Is this in addition to what's already
In addition,
fallen?
yeah. 6 to 12 in Buffalo, another 10 to 20 in the Southtowns. We got a foot overnight, so we're going to add
Yeah,
that.
and last night, I mean, between 6 and 8, there were whiteouts on the 219. It was just awful driving conditions yesterday evening. In
the weather community, this sounds kind of gross, but we say it's puking snow. And that's like a term that we all use when it's snowing that hard, that fast. It's like the atmosphere is just, it's coming down so hard. Yeah. And that's what lake effect can do.
And it'll be that hard later today in some spots as well.
I think it could be. It could be, yeah. We'll show you radar here.
All right, I'll leave you
Bye.
with this.
See you later. I'll see you over there in a sec. This band of snow, which settled over southern Erie County this morning after dropping about 10 to 12 inches from Orchard Park to Hamburg. It's showing signs now that it is going to begin lifting north. It's going to begin to intensify and get heavy, arriving in Buffalo around midday and then taking us into the afternoon. It may even get as far as the North Towns in parts of southern Niagara County. But there's the snow now in Fredonia and Dunkirk. Yes, it is beginning to show signs that it's going to lift to the north. And there you can see that trend just in the last 30 minutes. We've seen that northern push. There it is. Because what's happening is the winds are going from westerly to southwesterly, and that's going to allow this band to move back through the Southtowns and eventually into Buffalo. All right, air temperatures are in the single digits, above and below zero. Actual air temperatures in the southern tier are 4 below and only 1 below in Jamestown. It's 8 in Niagara Falls. and the wind chills are sub-zero. Kevin is going to have more on the wind chills in just a bit. All right, here we go for today. Future Look shows that band lifting north into the South Towns and then into Buffalo Metro, all the way out to Batavia, it looks like, in the afternoon. This could affect Williamsville and Kenmore and Gettsville and Amherst, Clarence, Williamsville getting into the snow, Lancaster, Cheektowaga, and then that snow will begin to push south again this evening, back into the South Towns, and then eventually down into the southern tier tonight, where it will fade a little bit, with one final push north, it looks like, during the day tomorrow. And that's when it all should come to an end in Buffalo by tomorrow afternoon. But there still could be some snow showers tomorrow afternoon. Additional snowfall we're expecting today through tonight. Again, Buffalo 6 to 12, 5 to 7 out to Batavia. Niagara Falls 1, 2, maybe 3 inches, but 14 to 20 for the Boston Hills and into Hamburg, East Aurora, and Elma, potentially. Okay, more on the wind chills coming up. Here's a look at the long-range 7-day forecast. Weather impact alert for today, tomorrow. Thursday, some snow showers again. Friday should be dry. Temperatures close to 30 for the weekend, so it's going to warm up. Maybe time to enjoy some of the snow for winter weather enthusiasts. And then as we head towards the South Towns in the southern tier, you can see that we're dealing. Oh, where'd it go?
Yeah, come on over.
It shows that we do have snow chances through tomorrow, and then it should come to an end. But it's going to be very cold.
Yeah, very cold and very snowy in parts. And yeah, driving today, it just depends on where you're driving with how bad it is, whether you're driving through the ban or not. Let's take a look at the travel advisory map right now. Do we have that? Okay, so the county just posted this. As you can see, all of central and southern Erie County is under a travel advisory this morning, meaning no unnecessary travel. There was a travel ban earlier today in Evans and Angola. Now that's just an advisory. The only parts of Erie County that don't have this travel advisory, as you can see there, Grand Island, Tonawanda, Amherst, Clarence, and Newstead. But let me tell you about some traffic issues on the roads right now. As you're looking at this map, I do know that the 90 East, there's a crash from exit 53, which is the 190 in West Seneca. So the left lane is closed on the 90 East. As far as Route 20 East, there's an emergency utility repair on Route 20 East from Route 179, which is Mile Strip, to Lake Avenue in Orchard Park. So the right lane is closed there. And then the 219, it technically is still closed north and southbound from the 90 to Peters Road. So try to avoid, you can see there the purple, that's the 219 that's closed. But look at all of the reds and yellows on the map right there. Slow traffic. And as we could see, with Kevin O'Neill driving around this morning in the storm tracker, because it's so cold, none of the snow on the ground is melting. The clouds are just kind of pushing it, and so it's snow-packed roads, and the salt does not work in these cold temperatures. So
no, the physics of it, yeah, it doesn't melt the snow.
Right. So even on the main arteries and the highways out there, you're driving on packed snow, and then the side streets are even worse.
Right.
So Kevin O'Neill is up on the roof this morning to talk about just how cold it is.
Hey!
Hey, you drew the short straw. You're outside this morning.
Yeah, it's cold. Okay, back to you.
Okay.
That's all we need.
That's about it.
Yeah, it's great. I'm all layered up here. The Bills fan in me is all set for this live hit. And yeah, you're right. It is single-digit temperatures. The wind chills now -7 in Buffalo, negative double digits in the southern tier. They typically get a little colder down there due to the added elevation. How low will we go? It's been 6 years, Patrick and Missy, since Buffalo has been below zero. I looked it up. It was February 1st of 2019. When we got to 4 below. We're likely to get, and not just wind chill, an actual temp of below zero in Buffalo or the National Weather Service Office, which is technically by the airport in Cheektowaga, late night tonight / into tomorrow morning. How low will we go in the wind chill department for Erie County? North of the stadium, between 15 and 20 below zero, and closer to 20 below zero for the southern tier as well. And this is one of the reasons, guys, just to pat ourselves on the back here, this is one of the reasons why Channel 2 has 2 innovations we've brought to the weather reporting in Western New York. One was the the zone forecasts, which are so important now because no two counties are alike in Western New York and no two zones are alike. So we sort of divided Western New York into like a 4-layer cake because some areas are going to get snow and some areas are not, over the next 12 hours or so. And another thing that we did was the weather impact alert. I think it was Thursday of last week when Jen Stenonis said we're going to issue, when Dan and Jen and then Patrick and then I on the weekend circled Wednesday, Thursday, and Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as being days which will have impactful weather. And indeed, that has come to fruition as well. So we're not quite done with the snow. We're not quite done with the cold. The coldest readings, again, will be late night tonight and tomorrow morning. The lake bands, thankfully, are south now. Guys, I'm going to be on the air 11 a.m. Back in the Storm Tracker. We're going to drive south into Erie County, and we're going to tell you what the latest the road conditions are on television.
All right, well, pump the heat in the Storm Tracker and drive very safely, Kev. Thank you. And yeah, kids were off from school today.
Yes.
Whether they had snow or not, it was mostly a factor because last night Governor Hochul came out with this declaration of a state of emergency. And because of that, almost all schools in Western New York were canceled today. So a 4-day weekend for a lot of kids and a lot of teachers because they were off yesterday for the Martin Luther King holiday. A lot of people up in the north towns might be saying, why is school closed because we have no snow? Well, a lot of times the teachers have to come from the south towns and come and teach up in the north towns, but it's really the emergency declaration that played a role into schools canceling today. Now, this was problematic because for high schoolers, this is Regents
exams. And so they got a lot of them moved to tomorrow or Thursday, I guess?
Right, yeah. That's right. So they've already rescheduled some of the Regents exams, or the schools are trying to figure out when they will reschedule them. So the high schoolers will be hearing from the school districts about when the Regents will be rescheduled. Buffalo Public Schools have already said, though, that they are considering a remote learning day for tomorrow because of the cold weather. However, while kids are learning remotely, those who are taking Regents exams will be expected to go in to take the Regents exams tomorrow. That's according to a press release that the Buffalo schools sent out yesterday. So we're going to stay on top of it and figure out what's happening for tomorrow with Regents and whether more schools will be canceled tomorrow, not necessarily because of the snow, but because of the cold temperatures and the cold wind chill.
So there will be no remote Regents.
No remote Regents.
You can't do the Regents exam from your bedroom. No, it's not going to happen.
Right. But tomorrow, snow-wise, is there a reason to cancel classes for cold? We're talking -15 to -25 degree wind chills is really kind of the threshold for schools canceling because of cold.
Tomorrow's going to be another cold day. Today will be colder.
Okay.
The snow threat is big for today, not so much tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. The wind chills are still going to be cold tomorrow, but again, kind of a tick down from what we're seeing, or tick up. It'll be warmer tomorrow, but still cold.
Okay.
Boy, did I explain that. Yeah, it's going to be warmer, but still, you know what I mean.
I get it.
Instead of a high of 10, it's going to be a high of 15. Wind chills maybe a few degrees below zero.
Okay, and one update about those traffic problems that I was telling you about in road closures. We have just learned that the 219 is back open, and also the town and village of Orchard Park will remain on a travel advisory. Almost all municipalities in Erie County are on travel advisories this morning. But again, you can get all of those updates right in the palm of your hand with our Storm Team 2 weather app. It's got live radar, weather impact alerts, the 7-day forecast right there. It's free to download right now from the App Store or from Google Play. So besides the weather, we have more to talk about with the Bills. That's the other big story that everyone's talking about this week. The Bills are riding high. They punched their ticket to the AFC Championship game. This is a live look right now at the front steps of City Hall, where the AFC East Division Championship banner is proudly hanging. And right now, we are actually planning something really special for this location on Friday morning with the Today Show. Yeah, their national crew is coming right here to Buffalo, and they want to see a pep rally from Bills Mafia. Take a listen.
Oh, let's go, Pete, Melissa. Good to see both of you. It's Tuesday, but I know the big thing that's on everyone's mind there in Buffalo, Sunday, when your beloved Bills take on the Chiefs with a ticket to the Super Bowl on the line. And we know that Bills Mafia is going to be primed and ready. They always are. A fandom so intense and loyal that we've highlighted several times on our Inside the Game series. So this morning, we are excited to announce that we are teaming up with you guys, WGRZ-2, for what is going to be an epic playoff pep rally live this Friday right here on Today. So, guys, why don't you share some of the details that you have with your viewers?
Yeah, I can't wait. Well, the pep rally is happening right here in the heart of downtown. We're taking a live look at Buffalo City Hall, where the playoff banners are proudly hanging.
Yeah, we've got that banner for AFC East champions. We want AFC champions and eventually Super Bowl champion banners right there on the steps of City Hall, too. We're working out the details right now about this pep rally for Friday morning.
Okay.
But we will confirm everything with the city. We'll let you know as soon as we got all of those details planned. But we want Bills Mafia with us to celebrate and get everybody hyped up. Bills Mafia will be hyped up on Friday morning.
That's right. And Craig, what do you guys have planned? I know wings are going to have to be on your list, but what are you looking forward to?
Of course. Wings are definitely going to be on the list. And by the way, hype's probably an understatement. We should also mention, though, that fans from all 4 remaining playoff teams will be taking part in our pep rally, including the Chiefs. So Buffalo, be sure to show up Friday morning loud and proud so they can hear you all the way down in Kansas City as well.
Okay, so that was Craig Melvin live with us on Daybreak this morning to share this really exciting news. Again, we're trying to figure out the details, still working it out. We know that the Bills will be picking a super fan who will be joining us, who we will be interviewing live on the air with the Today Show on Friday morning. We will be live during daybreak, so we want our Bills Mafia to be joining us on the steps of City Hall during daybreak to be live on the air. And then sometime between the 7 and 8 o'clock hour of the Today Show, they will be going to live to us, as well as you just heard Craig say, also in Kansas City and then also in Philadelphia and Washington for the 4 teams that are remaining in the playoffs now. So we want to make sure that the Bills Mafia, though, is the best pep rally out of any of the 3 other teams.
And our weather, it's not going to be as cold. So if you're planning, we'd love for you to come out, of course. It will not be like asking you to come out this morning, okay?
Right.
It'll be probably in the teens to low 20s.
Okay, so it was like tailgating on Sunday.
Exactly. Think of it like that, just a Friday tailgate. That should be fun. And I'd love to see, honestly, those other cities are a lot bigger than here. But wouldn't it be awesome if our crowd was just better? The biggest and best crowd. Better than, who's going to show up for, sorry, DC. I mean, the Washington Commanders, a great team.
Sure.
Good fan base, but it's not the Mafia.
You can imagine that Bills Mafia will be bringing some tables to jump through from the steps of City Hall live on the air on Friday. We are still working out all the details, but yes, we promise you throughout the week we will be giving you more details, when to show up, what to bring, what we're doing, who's going to be interviewed, but it'll be really a lot of fun to have the Today Show here with us.
So they have the very civilized crowd in Kansas City, the very modest crowd in Philadelphia, which they're not. Their fans are crazy. Let's go to Buffalo, and people jumping on tables.
Yeah.
So this might be a spectacle.
Right, but at least the weather will be good. Could you imagine if it was like what it was last night?
Oh my gosh.
Or if Sunday night's game was Monday night instead.
I thought about that. Think about if the 6:30 kickoff, 6:30 in Orchard Park would have been reminiscent of the Colts game in 2017.
That snow game.
It would have been like the snow game for a playoff game.
Right.
Can you imagine? And it would have lasted the entire game.
Right. It was zero visibility in Orchard Park.
I love it when ideas come during. I'm like, I now really, that's great. Not just like for a quarter.
The entire thing.
The entire thing.
Yeah.
Then,
so it was a good thing it was Sunday and not Monday.
Okay. We solved that problem.
We did. All right. Okay, so we've got a lot of Bills fans here, but Bills fans are everywhere around the world. And this morning we have proof. We caught up with the president of the Bills backers in St. Louis, where, there are a lot of fans out there. 2 different Bills backers groups, and they say since the Rams left, it's turned into Chiefs country. But the co-president of the Bills backers there is a Lockport native, and she says there will be a lot of support from Bills Mafia in Missouri on Sunday.
And I don't know, we're just a little west of St. Louis. Right. And after the Rams left, unfortunately, it's become a little kind of Rams country around here. And so it's always interesting, or not Rams country. What am I saying? Rams left. It's kind of Chiefs country around here. And so, we're often kind of in the minority and surrounded by enemies. So it'll be interesting for sure. I know a big group from our area went to Indianapolis, and I know that if there's already a big group from St. Louis, they're going to be going to Kansas City. So I think that's just know you're going to be well represented in Kansas City, just based on the number of people who are going to make that trek from St. Louis out that way.
Yeah, of course there are Bills fans in Kansas City. Actually, on Sunday, I had a friend, Nicole, who was in Mexico, and she is the biggest Bills fan ever. And she was sending me pictures of sporting all her Bills Mafia stuff in Mexico. And it's just fun seeing fans from around the world who are showing their Bills love. And it's just going to get ramped up even more when we are just one win away from finally making it.
Have you seen the map? Well, maybe we'll try to show this tomorrow. There is the funniest thing on Instagram, I think, about
Andre Reed sent it out
about the support of the Eagles and the Commanders versus the Bills and
the Bills and Chiefs. And the entire country has the Bills logo on it, except for this little sliver right near Kansas
who America
City.
is rooting for.
Right.
And I mean, I think America would love a Bills Commanders. Because there's that franchise, which was terrible, not a great ownership group up until this year. And think of the changes that have happened. So they're kind of a nice story, too.
Yeah, but everyone just really loves the Bills and Josh Allen. There's so many lovable players. And yeah, it's nice to see that America's rooting for our team. Now, while we're here supporting the Bills, players have to focus on killing yet another narrative that's out there. This time, this time there are some questions about the team's ability to win on the road in the playoffs. Now, StatMuse is saying that the Bills have a 4-14 record on the road in the playoffs all time. Their last road postseason win came back in 1993 against the Dolphins. Is that right? The last road postseason win?
Think about it. Because they lost in Houston, they lost in Kansas City. And then they had 2 home ones that they lost. Yeah?
Yeah, but on the road.
On the road.
The last postseason win came back in 1993 against the Dolphins. And head coach Sean McDermott was asked about that yesterday.
This goes back a long time, the Bills' inability to win a playoff game on the road. It goes beyond you even. What is it, a mindset thing? Is it just a comfort thing? What are the challenges that teams have to overcome to win a playoff game away from home?
I don't know. I wasn't here in those years you're referring to, but I'll just say from my own experience in the playoffs, you've got to play your best football. Plain and simple, you got to perform at a level that allows you to win.
Well, that's all. It's kind of how it works. That's how football works. Play at a level to win.
Right.
But the Bills were underdogs going into the Ravens game at home. The first time that the Bills were underdogs at home.
So
look what they did.
Is it 1.5 right now? Is that what it is?
I do not know. I
think the Chiefs are favored the same amount that.
But 1.5 is nothing when they're home.
Right. Maybe it's a little bit more. Anyway, I think
that would actually make the Bills kind of favored
because they're not getting. Usually, the home team gets 3 points.
Yeah. All right, we will talk weather again in just a second, but a reminder, at 9:30 this morning, we're going to be hearing from Buffalo Police about the search for those 2 missing children, a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old. We've got that press conference at 9:30 this morning, and we'll be bringing it to you live here on the stream. So stay with us on the stream as we learn more information about how they disappeared and police asking for the public's help in finding them. But yeah, let's get back to the cold. We are not the only ones in this country experiencing really cold weather. Harsh winter weather conditions nationwide. Authorities in Milwaukee say an 80-year-old man fell on the sidewalk in the middle of the night, and investigators believe that the man actually died as a result of hypothermia. Then a snow squall warning has been issued in Texas, the Texas Panhandle, for the first time ever. The warning was due to a narrow band of intense snow creating zero visibility along with an Arctic cold front as it moved south through the Panhandle. Extreme cold warnings remain in effect for that area in the Texas Panhandle until later today. And then in Kansas, a cold weather advisory covers most of Kansas with extreme cold watches and warnings in western Kansas, southwest Nebraska, and the Oklahoma Panhandle. And along with the light snow there, it will be dangerously cold. Wind chills will be near or below zero there. So Patrick, what is going on nationwide? This is crazy
this
stuff.
I got to show you. This is just, this is nutso. This is snow in Houston, southern Louisiana, southern Mississippi and Alabama, the panhandle of Florida, likely to get a little bit of snow, and a never before issued blizzard warning for coastal Louisiana was issued today out of Lake Charles. They've never issued one before. So this is the kind of cold, excuse me, that's happening nationwide, including here in Western New York. It's only 7 in Buffalo, 1 below in Jamestown. Quick look at wind chills. You can see that they're going to stay very cold tonight, down between 10 and 20 below zero. And then for tomorrow, those wind chills are going to stay cold as well. Tomorrow morning, 8 to 10 below. So Melissa, we were talking about Wednesday wind chills. They're going to still be low. So that's something to think about with schools. Future look does show that band of snow again, lifting farther to the north, moving in towards Buffalo around lunchtime and into the afternoon with some heavy snow. There could be a high impact on the afternoon and evening commute, okay, in and around Buffalo. So plan accordingly. Driving in these kind of conditions is going to be challenging, okay? Then we've got the snow heading back south as we head over the south towns this evening and tonight before the band begins to drop south into ski country. It lifts north one more time tomorrow, but snow amounts tomorrow will not be much. So a weather impact alert for Tuesday and Wednesday for Buffalo and the Niagara County. Snow showers on Thursday, especially Thursday night. Dry for the weekend for the most part, maybe a little light snow on Sunday. For the south towns, very cold today. Snow today, snow this morning, and then again, it kind of lifts north of the area and then heads back this evening. Snow showers Thursday, perhaps Friday too. Dry Saturday, and then a chance of some light snow, it appears, on Sunday. Temperatures clearly getting a little bit warmer, still below freezing, but we're going to be out of the grips of this Arctic air that, you know, let's see, arrived on Sunday. So this is like a 4-day cold snap.
Yeah, I'm checking my email right now, and there is an impact now on trash collection, just updating all of you. It's going to be delayed a day with waste management in Alden, Aurora, Boston, Clarence, Colden, Concord, Eden, Holland, Lancaster, Orchard Park, Springville, and Wyoming County will be delayed a day.
What about no Hamburg?
No Hamburg.
Everything surrounding Hamburg. Okay.
Put out your garbage today.
It's got to go.
Okay.
It's time. You know, when your bags, you can't even close the lid now. You know, when you put it out and you're just like, oh, you're that family. Like, yeah. So apparently our trash collection is still tomorrow.
Okay.
Good.
We will bring you that press conference from Buffalo Police in just a minute. But first, this is really incredible video. A dramatic rescue, all caught on police body cameras, capture an officer and firefighters rescuing a mom and her 6-month-old baby after their car careened into an icy creek. Charlie Keegan has more from Liberty, Missouri.
That's Liberty Police Officer Zach Morrison jumping into Rush Creek. A car swerved off the road at Highways B&H and crashed through the ice Tuesday morning. A mom and her 6-month-old daughter were trapped inside.
Right behind you.
The woman's husband is on top of the SUV. He was following behind in his own car.
There's not really a lot that's going through my head other than just trying to get the job done.
Morrison's body camera captured the rescue.
This is the first time watching it back.
He ignored the cold water, then used a tool to cut the car's windshield. Morrison and firefighters
Here, hold my hand, I got you.
pulled the woman out of the SUV.
I don't mind getting in the water.
We got you.
Her baby was still strapped into the car seat, luckily above the waterline. Morrison takes off his vest and his body camera so he can fit past the windshield and crawl to the baby.
And my dad instincts kicked in. Once I found out there's a 6-month-old child in the back seat, that's big priority of mine.
I'll walk behind you, go this way.
This part of the video is hard to see. A fire captain carries the baby to an ambulance.
You good with him?
I was more worried about the ice and my footing. So I wanted to make sure the baby was passed off to someone who had a little sturdier foot.
I got gloves. I mean, I can try to pull it out.
Amazingly, the baby and mom were okay. They didn't even spend a night in the hospital. anyone watching the icy rescue would call these first responders heroes.
Hero is not something we are. We're public servants. We know what we signed up to do. A lot of us that have been doing the job for a while, we just don't look at it that way.
We're definitely feeling the cold there.
However you look at it, this video shows more than a typical day on the job.
Wow, that was Charlie Keegan reporting from Missouri. Really amazing video. Can you imagine that poor dad too, watching
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
wife and
You're
baby
in front of
careen
you and
down
go.
an embankment. Yeah. Wow. Amazing work there by those heroes. Again, we are waiting for Buffalo Police to begin a press conference any minute now regarding the missing children in Buffalo. We'll bring that to you as soon as that press conference begins. In the meantime, let's talk more Bills and Sabres, shall we? Do we have to talk about Sabres? Bills, though, one key part to the Bills' success is offensive coordinator Joe Brady. All week, the Bills were questioned about their ability to run on the Ravens' defense. Well, the Bills' offensive line has been running the ball effectively since the playoffs started. And here's what Joe Brady had to say about committing to the run.
Yeah, no, it's playoff football, right? And it's cold outside. You know, the weather's not the weather in the field sometimes aren't on just great terms with the footing, and you need to be able to be a physical football team and be able to establish the line of scrimmage. And I'm fortunate for the offensive line that we have, that the trust that I have in them and our backs understanding, and it always points to the offensive line, but the wide receivers and the tight ends that we have in the run game that are doing all the unselfish work, and it's critical. And look, locker room at halftime, I go down and hey guys, what do you want right now? Like, how are you guys feeling? How are you approaching it? And them being honest with me, and again, whether it works or not, it's the confidence and the trust in them that they're out there doing it and they're feeling it and they're understanding how the blocks are approaching it, and that communication, that trust in them. Like, we've gotten to this point because of our guys, because of our players, and the trust that we have in them, and that can't change.
Joe Brady's doing a great job. You just hate that other teams are going to want to steal him.
Well, the longer we go and he can't take another job, these jobs are getting filled by others.
Sure.
So, sorry, we're looking out for ourselves
here. A blessing and a curse, right?
Right.
Let's talk about Sabres now, too. One of Buffalo's other teams, is not doing too hot, because the Bandits are great and the Bills are great, but the Sabres, they're getting ready to be back on the ice tonight after yet another loss on the road yesterday. The team will be hoping to come out on top against Vancouver tonight, but Buffalo's going into this game with a not-so-great losing streak, dropping 3 of their last 4 games. Yesterday's game, the Sabres lost 6-4 against the Kraken. They were up 2-0, but then lost that lead. And head coach Lindy Ruff says last night's loss really came down to the team just not being able to find their rhythm.
I thought most of the goals, every goal, there was a lost battle. You're not going to win games. You lose the net front battle for goals. You lost below the goal line battles. Almost, 90% of their opportunities were on the hands of us not winning the battle.
6-4 your final score.
And we will have more Sabres coverage today at 6 and 11 as our sports team talks about what we can expect out of tonight's game, hoping that they can turn things around. Hey, Bandits are undefeated. The
to go all the way out to Seattle to lose. Have we ever beaten the Kraken? I don't know if we have.
Probably.
Maybe. Well, they're a new team, so. Okay, so they got Vancouver tonight, so.
Yes, we will give you Sabres highlights and post-game reaction on Daybreak tomorrow. All right, nationally, it was a big day yesterday for the inauguration. Our country has a new president. President Donald Trump has officially been sworn into office for a second term, and he hit the ground running yesterday. And he wants to make not just day one, but the first 100 days count. NBC's Chris Pallone explains what we can expect. Good morning, Chris.
Pete, Melissa, good morning. The nation's 45th president is now its 47th president, and he wasted no time in trying to fulfill his campaign promises among the ceremonies and celebrations. As the new president danced and celebrated his inauguration with supporters in Washington.
This is going to be the dawn of the golden age of America.
Some 1,500 January 6th defendants celebrated their legal slates being wiped clean. As one of his first official acts, President Trump pardoned and commuted the sentences of everyone charged with crimes related to the January 6th insurrection. One cutting his ankle monitor off after getting word the new president, who campaigned on bringing law and order back to American cities, absolved him with the stroke of a pen.
This is January 6th. These are the hostages.
But they weren't hostages. They were people who were found guilty by a judge or jury or pled guilty to crimes committed as a pro-Trump mob stormed the Capitol to stop the certification of the 2020 election. One Trump official, posting a picture of two brothers after being released from a Washington jail, pled guilty to felony assault charges just days ago. It was one of dozens of executive orders and actions President Trump signed in his first hours back in office, many focusing on immigration and border security.
This next order relates to the definition of birthright citizenship.
President signing an order denying U.S. citizenship for children born in the U.S. to undocumented parents, a right guaranteed in the Constitution, an order sure to face legal challenges.
We'll see. We think we have very good grounds.
Sir,
people have wanted to do this for decades.
It came after an inauguration ceremony unlike anyone had seen in decades.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
With the swearing-in ceremony being held indoors because of cold temperatures and the inaugural parade marching through a nearby arena.
Many people thought it was impossible for me to stage such a historic political comeback.
Day one of an already record-breaking return to power. Just one day in, and President Trump's second cabinet is already taking shape, with the Senate unanimously confirming Senator Marco Rubio to be Secretary of State. Two other Trump nominees have been passed out of committee and are headed for full Senate confirmation votes as well. In Washington, Chris Pallone. Pete, Melissa, back to you.
And that was a package from Chris Pallone from earlier this morning that we aired on Daybreak. Again, it is 9:36 right now. Buffalo police were supposed to begin a news conference at 9:30 this morning to update the media and the public about the whereabouts of two missing girls in Buffalo. We will still bring that to you live. Buffalo police are just running late. We're not sure when that will get started, but as soon as they begin that press conference, we will jump into it and bring it to you live. In the meantime, let's talk about some other news. Just hours after TikTok went dark this weekend, it was back online. We could hear everyone rejoicing. President Trump says that he would issue an executive order to delay when the ban as soon as it would go into effect. So he wanted to delay it, and we believe it's delayed for 75 days. Two on your sides. Alexandra Rios Malvia tells us what is next for the social media platform and its users.
Hey. That's Abigail Lee and her latest TikTok post showing off her custom-made Bills themed snowsuit.
I actually posted a get ready with me the moment TikTok got back up. That one did good too.
For creators like Abigail, TikTok isn't just for fun. It's how she connects with her audience and runs her business, from showing a little bit of her personality.
That one was fun.
Designs to taking custom orders.
It just said TikTok is not available right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, it really did happen. We didn't know until 12 a.m. Everyone thought it was going to be at 12. So it didn't. It was at 10:30. And I was like, what are we going to do now?
The app went dark late Saturday after its parent company, ByteDance, failed to comply with the law requiring the platform to be sold to an American company. But by Sunday afternoon, TikTok was back after then-President-elect Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social, asking companies not to let the app stay dark, and said he would issue an executive order giving TikTok more time before any penalty would be enforced.
After finding out it was back yesterday, I was like, okay, wait, this is the best day ever.
Experts say TikTok's future depends on ByteDance's willingness to sell a prospect that's met with a battle, especially when it comes to the app's powerful algorithms.
Companies have tried in the past. There have been platforms that have tried to kind of replicate TikTok's very successful algorithm with not a whole lot of success.
The app's popularity and the data it collects has fueled national security concerns, prompting calls from lawmakers for a permanent ban. Some worry that even with a deal, the app could face another shutdown in the future.
Is that 90-day period, 1 quarter, 3 months, enough time to put a deal in place? I think only time will tell.
Abigail is savoring every moment. TikTok is still here.
And that was Alexandra Rios-Melvilla reporting. And again, President Donald Trump ordered the federal government yesterday not to enforce the law banning TikTok nationwide for 75 days.
The North Towns.
All right, right now we have got breaking news. Again, we are awaiting an update on 2 missing children in Buffalo. Buffalo police are scheduled to hold a press conference. It was scheduled for 9:30, and we're waiting for them to start that press conference. We've got our Natalie Foss live at the press conference this morning. Natalie, if you can hear me, set the scene for me. What's going on there at Buffalo Police Headquarters?
Well, Melissa, right now the room is pretty much empty except for the podium behind me and, of course, members of the media. As we're anxiously waiting for this press conference to start, they came in and told us that it's going to start in about five minutes. So we're just waiting to hear from them. And right now we're just trying to figure out what's happening with these 2 girls. They said that they're doing this press conference in order to ask for the public's help and give them some extra information that might be able to lead to finding the 2 children. Now, one of them is 7 years old and the other is 12. So there is kind of a race looking for these children right now.
Okay, Natalie.
One of the things that we do know is
continue on, Natalie.
One of the things that we do know, Melissa, is that they were last seen on the 800 block. Yeah, they were last seen on the 800 block of Delaware, and that's mostly businesses, other than Child Family Services, as well as the Stanley Folk School. We don't really know what kind of connection that has right now. So some of the questions we're going to be asking is, where did they go missing from? Also, like we said, we've heard talk. Oh, we're going to head right out.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank the members of the media for assembling so quickly this morning for this urgent public safety update. With me this morning is Acting Buffalo Police Commissioner Al Wright and Chief of Detectives Craig Macy. Last night at 7:14 p.m., Buffalo Police received a call of 2 missing young girls, Nova Rain Lilly, age 7, and Araya Brown, age 12. Nova Lilly is a 7-year-old white female with blonde hair, last seen wearing a white shirt, pink jacket, and blue pants. Araya Brown, age 12, is a black female, last seen wearing a black jacket, black jeans, and black Adidas. Through video surveillance, they were last seen sometime around 6:30, in the neighborhood of 6:30, in the neighborhood of Main and Utica streets. If anyone has any information, any tips, any sightings, please, we are urging that you please call 911 immediately so that our detectives continue to look for these 2 young girls. Obviously, whenever the situation like this arises, it is urgent, but obviously with the weather the last 24 hours and whether that's going to be coming into the city later this afternoon and the bitter cold temperatures, wind chill and sub-zero weather, it's even more urgent that we continue this investigation in a timely manner. With that being said, I'm going to turn it right over to the Buffalo Police Department and Acting Commissioner Al Wright.
Good morning. I'd like to say, if any information is out there, please call 911. We have a 12 and a 7-year-old out in the cold, the weather. Someone has to know where they are. We're actively looking. We're using all available resources. But please call 911. We have a 7 and a 12-year-old female that's out there. And we request all help from anyone. Thank you. I'll turn it over to Chief Macy.
Good morning, thank you. Immediately after the 911 call was placed, BPD patrol resources responded and then started obtaining the critical information that is needed for something like this. A police report was conducted. Our special victims unit, as well as the district detectives, were also notified, at which point the Missing Persons Clearinghouse, which is a part of New York State DCJS, was contacted, and then a missing child report an alert was conducted and activated. With respects to an Amber Alert versus a missing person alert or report, there is certain criteria that needs to be made. We request that through the New York State Police and DCJS. We give them all the information that they have, and there is, again, some framework that has to be met before an Amber Alert can be conducted. We are one step below that, as we do not have any information that they are with a unknown third party and or that they are in danger outside of the fact that there is obviously the weather concerns, right? So those are the basic things that you would need for a Amber Alert. Going back to everything that has been conducted by our officers, we have done essentially a grid search from the last location, which was the address where they were living at Child and Family Services on Delaware Avenue. Through that, we were able to find some privately owned video surveillance as well as city cameras that are posted to my left that have the girls walking eastbound, last seen approximately 6:34 last night, going eastbound from Maine and Utica. Again, as the mayor said, we have a physical description of them, and that is captured and recorded on that video to my left. So Missing Person Clearinghouse also did a poster for other entities in Western New York and throughout the state. We have been in contact with NFTA, Cheektowaga Police. The sheriffs are in our office right now. We have a command post set up, and we are working together, going through all of the methods that we would use to find children. Last September, we were able to have New York State DCJS come and teach a missing persons training, which we were in part of. We spent, I believe, approximately 6 or 7 detectives, a supervisor, and some members from the sheriff's office. So we're using those methods that was taught to us and essentially reinforced in this case right now. So I believe I covered pretty much everything. If the mayor has anything, or the commissioner, last.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Chief. As it was stated, 7:14 last night, call comes in. A few minutes later is dispatched, and shortly thereafter, officers on scene and the Buffalo Police Department's detectives unit and everyone else working this situation ever since. I think Commissioner Wright touched on it, and what's urgent is, you look at this video and see these two sweet faces. And so if anyone has any information, any sightings, any tips, please, anything, if you think it's even a possibility, please call 911 immediately so that we can follow up on those leads. And with that, I will open it to any questions.
Who called 911, and what was that conversation on that recorded line?
So that call came in from Child and Family Services, where the kids are living at this time. And they just put out that there was a missing person under 12, which ended up ultimately being dispatched to patrol.
Was there a concern? Was there some sort of urgency on their part?
There's always a concern when kids this age are missing. With the actual verbiage, I'm not familiar with, but I know what the CAD said, and I've talked to the detectives.
Was there any inclination that they had been planning to leave this house, or what was the conversation with those folks at home?
So there is not, at this point, any information that this was pre-planned. One of the children has exhibited runaway behavior before, but that does not mean that we are any less concerned, because there are secondary and tertiary effects that can happen not only with this weather, but when there's 2 kids that age that are not under adult supervision.
Maybe you can go into detail on that for me. As the chief right now, what is your biggest concern outside of weather?
I think there's probably too many, and everybody has seen the news on a regular basis. There's a lot of threats out there in the world.
Are you talking like child trafficking?
Yeah, Ed, you're talking about a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old. Obviously, everyone knows the concerns that can arise of them being unsupervised roaming the streets. I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, so it hits home with me, obviously, knowing that these 2 young children could be out there wandering the streets. One of the children very unfamiliar with the neighborhood, with the city of Buffalo, so it's of great concern, obviously, lack of familiarity with the surrounding neighborhood. But you're talking about a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old, and I think we can all draw to conclusions what obviously the concerns are.
It looks like, are they wearing backpacks? Is there a backpack in there, or have you located the backpack? What's in the backpack?
So we believe that there is one child with a backpack. That has not been conveyed, the items that are in there, but video surveillance shows what is consistent with a backpack.
Do you know anything that's missing from where they were staying, might be in the backpack, are there clothes?
We have not been given that information.
Chief, is this the picture, I'm sorry, the picture on Main Utica, is that the picture from the city surveillance camera?
It is. So this is privately owned surveillance camera footage right there, which is a few minutes the city surveillance camera.
And have city surveillance cameras or any other private camera picked them up since these two pictures were taken?
So with the weather, business hours, that has slowed down the actual canvassing process to be able to retrieve some video, which is also why we're conducting this this press conference, right? Because while we have pretty much every detective in the city that is out canvassing, doing interviews and reaching out to people, that is not as fast as what we can do here with leveraging our partners in the media.
Why wait until this morning to do the press conference? Why not yesterday?
So that's a very valid question with respects to timeliness. However, we did not have some of this video last night. And at that point, all we have is 2 missing kids with the images that we put on Facebook almost immediately. What was also conducted last night during that search that we were doing, we had our canines out for tracking, which snow slowed that down, as well as we had our drones up in force looking for heat signatures, and nothing was shown from there.
Do you know any relationship between the two children? Is there a concern that they might get separated from one another?
So that second part of your question, the concern of them getting separated, is a concern. The first part is we believe them to not have any relationship prior to their placement in that facility.
Do you know how long they've been living here?
I don't.
And do you know if there are procedures in place or what goes on inside the house to make sure that something like this doesn't happen?
I can't comment on other agencies' procedures. Not only I can't comment on it because I personally don't know, but I just also wouldn't comment on that.
Mr. Mayor, maybe you can kind of elaborate here. So the fact that Buffalo Police does not issue an Amber Alert, obviously it's a procedural thing, a policy issue, which is why I'm asking you about this. Do you feel that there needs to be a change in policy to make sure that perhaps in this kind of a situation we can get an Amber Alert issued, albeit not an Amber Alert?
Yeah, that was one of the first questions when I came and asked, you know, what is the threshold there? And then talking to Detective Macy, he kind of laid out for me the different threshold that exists for an Amber Alert being issued, and that it comes from the state police, that we send them the information, and they ultimately would decide and send that out. But obviously when situations like this arise, you have to review these things on a rolling basis. So I think after this, we probably take a look at it, see if it's not an Amber Alert. If it's something else, it has to be created at maybe a lower threshold, and we can go from there with talking to the Buffalo Police Department and the state police.
How dangerous is this situation just because of the temperatures alone that are going on right now?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, some of the footage is grainy. I can't tell if there's gloves, what these kids might have on. But you know, you're talking about a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old unsupervised roaming the streets of Buffalo in January when we have a cold front that's moved in this week. You've got sub-zero temperatures, and it's dangerous for adults to be out there too long, let alone a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old. So again, any information that anyone can provide, any potential sightings, any tips that you might have, any information, please do not hesitate to call 911 so our detectives continue to work on it.
Can you walk us through what the rest of the day looks like? You mentioned you had the drones and you had the heat signatures, looking for heat signatures, and canine out. What does the rest of the day look like in terms of the investigation?
So as the day goes on, we still have had our continuous footprint with our patrol assets, right? The detectives are conducting more interviews. The patrol resources have been consistent, which is pretty heavy with this, and we will now be leveraging some more technical stuff. So.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for your help, guys.
And if you're just tuning in now, I'll recap what we just heard from Acting Buffalo Mayor Chris Scanlon, Acting Buffalo Police Commissioner Al Wright, and Detective Bill Macy. They've updated the media to ask for the public's help in finding 7-year-old Nova Rain Lily and 12-year-old Araya Brown. You see them on your screen. We now know that they were living at Child and Family Services on Delaware Avenue. The call came into police at 7:14 last night to say that they were missing. Buffalo police immediately began searching, and they did find private surveillance video showing the girls. The last time that they were seen on video was at 6:30 in the evening at Main and Utica, and they were walking eastbound. So clearly the girls walked from Delaware Avenue at Child and Family Services to Main and Utica, and that's the last time they were seen. Police have used drones, they've used canines. They are actively looking right now for these 2 girls, and they are asking for the support of the community in trying to find these girls. A lot of people have been wondering why there wasn't an Amber Alert. Well, police have said that this didn't meet the criteria for an Amber Alert because there was no unknown third party involved in their disappearance, and they were not, quote, in immediate danger. However, police have obviously said, and the mayor there, the acting mayor, Chris Scanlon, saying that, yes, the weather is a danger for these 2 young children who could potentially be out in the cold right now. They say that one of these girls has exhibited runaway behavior before, but that doesn't make their disappearance any less serious. So again, if you have seen 7-year-old Nova Rain Lily or 12-year-old Araya Brown, or any information about their whereabouts and their disappearance, you're asked to call 911 immediately. We will continue to cover this story throughout the day on Channel 2. We'll have another live report coming up at 11 a.m. on our midday newscast as well. And you can always click on WGRZ.com for the latest updates. I'm Melissa Holmes. Thanks for tuning in.